This was back some 30 years ago when the sawmill behind us still operated, before all this was turned into a camping ground. It was a good time, a prosperous time back then. The trees grew tall and proud. The owls were exactly what they seemed. Lumber was in high demand, so trade was good, and the money flowed like that river over there. The sawmill was owned by Gunnar Messing. He was a reasonable fellow, but he was a hard man. He had a bit of a temper. You know what happens if you poke a bear, right? A bit like that, only without the fur, the teeth and the claws. He was usually working late. He often did, up there in his office. Apparently ledgers don't balance themselves, and his workers rather like to be paid on time. Now, Billy and Joe Askinson were a couple of no-good boys, despite them both being the sons of the local vicar, so they decided that they could do with a bit of extra cash. But where could they find some? They knew that it would be payday at the sawmill soon, and it shouldn't be all that difficult to get in and to get the money. And if they ran into Old Man Messing, they would just take care of him. They thought anyone older than 40 was old. So they snuck in late in the evening, when they thought Messing had gone back into town. They thought wrong, of course. They made it through the production hall, shining their flashlights here and there. They probably got a bit lost along the way. They had skipped class when their school had arranged one of those tour of the local booming industry things. And that's where Messing found them. He launched himself at them with a roar, catching Joe a good solid clip on the side of his head. The Askinson's boys panicked. They hadn't thought they would actually run into anyone. They grabbed anything they could find and throw it at them to defend themselves. Blocks of wood, bandsaw teeth files, one of Messing's old axes. The axe hit badly, and Messing fell while the boys fled the sawmill. The workers found his body on the floor of the hall the next morning, pale, bloodless and stiff, his old axe buried in between his shoulder and his neck. The police were called, and then came a couple of journalists, and eventually the crowds of spectators, among them Askinson and his two sons. They say that soon after their arrival, all of the usual natural noises, the birds and insects and all those critters, just went silent. Of course, nobody really noticed at first, but those that did find it a bit odd. After a while, both boys started coughing. Nothing unusual about that, to be sure, but they just kept coughing and wheezing and growing paler and more tired. And then the nightmares came, something chasing them in their dreams. Always chasing, always running. Old Dr. Jenkins did what he could, but he couldn't find a single thing wrong with them. The tests all came back negative. It wasn't long after that both boys just died. It's a hard thing, burying your own children, but nevertheless that's what Askinson did. It was a quiet ceremony out there in the graveyard. It became even more quiet as all the birds and insect noises died away suddenly. The air felt tight and oppressive, like just before a thunderstorm. The mourners left soon after. The vicar had started coughing. He was buried next to his two sons. His wife left straight after the funeral and just moved on to another town. No one really felt like taking over the sawmill after that. Those that tried complained of a strange hostile feeling in the air. Someone even said that he saw a hunched figure in the hall once, with wild hair and glowing eyes, and something that looked like an axe handle sticking out of its neck. Nobody believed him, of course. But everything went kind of downhill from then on. Prices dropped, people moved away, and now here we are. The old sawmill is just standing there, quietly rotting away, but at least it's a good spot for a campground, eh? Hmm. Say, did everything just go real quiet like?